Hi guys, I'm Saumya and I'm back again with another video. I hope you're all well and safe. So I make a lot of bookish content on this channel. So if you are a book lover and a reader, then do hit that subscribe button and don't forget to click on the bell icon. So in today's video, I want to talk about a book which was sent to me by the author, and that book is Inner Trek, A Reluctant Pilgrim in the Himalayas by Mohan Ranga Rao. So let's get started with the video. Firstly, let me tell you a little bit about the author of the book, Mr. Mohan Ranga Rao. So he is a businessman and a philanthropist, and he loves to travel. And Inner Trek, A Reluctant Pilgrim in the Himalayas is a non-fiction book, and it's a travel memoir, and it has talked about Mr. Mohan Ranga Rao's journey to Mount Kailash and to Lake Mansarovar in Tibet. So this journey and the start of this journey sort of began in 2012 for him, when he was threatened by a mob boss, and he decided that if he got out of that situation successfully, then he would pay tribute to the gods by trekking around Mount Kailash and taking a holy dip in Lake Mansarovar in Tibet. And he finally started and decided to undertake this journey in 2016. So climbing to the face of Mount Kailash involves ascending 19,000 feet above the sea level, and this is a perilous journey with people dying on this journey and this trek. There is a history of people dying due to the lack of oxygen. So Mohan Ranga Rao and his wife were about to take a very perilous journey for sure, but at the same time they had made up their mind that they were going to go on this trek. So this book talks about their experiences and the challenges that they faced and the experience that they had ultimately. So reading this book was a journey in itself. This was my first read of 2022, and my 2022 could not have started better because I absolutely loved this book. I read this book in a single sitting. It has around 240 pages and I literally flew through this book. It has been written in a manner that is so engaging and effortless that I did not want to put it down. The writing is very engaging. Also the content of the book and the topic that it covers is just so enchanting that I could not help but read it so quickly. And I remember literally stopping myself on purpose because I didn't want to finish this book super quickly, but I couldn't help but finish it in a single sitting, and my god, that was a marvelous experience. So right from the beginning of the book, the author makes it abundantly clear how he was not specially spiritual or religious, but on the other hand his wife definitely had a spiritual bent of mind, and how she played a major role in getting this trip and this trek started. So for the author, this trip and this trek was mostly a physical experience that he was undertaking to see how he would feel physically and to experience the physical scenic beauty of Mount Kailash and Lake Mansarovar. But for his wife, this trek and this trip held a lot of spiritual and religious significance, and not just for her but for other travelers as well, whom the author and his wife encountered during this journey. So for me as a reader, this book was a fulfilling experience from that perspective, because reading about somebody who wasn't that spiritual when this journey began for him, but how it still became a journey of self-discovery for him, that entire vibe and that entire experience for me was something that I actually loved reading a lot. Talking about this book in very practical terms as well, it also serves as a travel guide for the reader, because all sorts of information has been provided in this book, be it the travel agency they used to go to Mount Kailash and Lake Mansarovar. It has also talked about the expenses, and every detail has been shared pretty transparently in this book. So in that manner, this book satisfies your curiosity on all counts because everything has been shared. So I love that about this book. Also, I could not help but want to visit Mount Kailash and Lake Mansarovar so much after reading this book and while reading this book, but at the same time I could not help but get a bit scared as well, because this is a dangerous journey and the limitations made me wary, but there was this anticipation and excitement for the future. So what makes this book such an engaging read is that it has this light-hearted, witty vibe to to it, and even though it's a travel memoir and a non-fiction book, it does not get boring at all. I mean, as I said before, that I read it in a single sitting, so that is saying a lot about a non-fiction book. And even if I compare this book with books from other genres in general, this book would rank pretty high in terms of how engrossing it is. The way and the clarity with which the author expressed his thoughts in this book during his journey were astounding, and I really love that about this book. As a reader, I was very much in sync with how the author was expressing his thoughts. Also, the descriptions of the places and the descriptions of the people are very vivid and realistic, and it is not very difficult. Actually, it's quite easy to picturize them and visualize them, so that also added to my experience of reading this book for sure. So I would like to talk about this book in terms of its physical copy. So it kind of, when I got this book, it kind of reminded me of a coffee table book. Like, not exactly, because coffee table books are rather large. This one is small, it's a regular sized book, but in terms of the fact that this is a hardcover and also the pages of this book are very glossy, makes it kind of look like a small coffee table book, if that makes sense. Also, one thing that I absolutely loved about this book, and one thing that anyone will love about this book, is the fact that it has colored pictures, and my god, these pictures add to the beauty and the reading experience for sure, and I just loved looking at these pictures so much. So I am happy that this was my first read of 2022, because on the whole this book gave me a very peaceful and a calm experience, and I welcomed that experience with open arms. And as far as I'm concerned, I highly recommend this book. If you are looking to read a very engaging travel memoir that will not bore you at all, then Inner Trek is a book that you need to read, because it checks all the boxes on every count. So it's a great book, and if you want to check this book out, I will leave the link for that in the description box. Also, I have reviewed Inner Trek on my blog, so if you want to read my blog review, that review will also be available in the description box, the link to that review I mean. That was it for today's video. I hope you liked my review of Inner Trek by Mohan Ranga Rao. So if you want to connect with me on my social media, the links are in the description box. I will see you in my next video. Till then, bye bye, take care and stay safe.